Well, I think that's an excellent question, intentionality. And we can see from my work that I don't subscribe to intentionality. But that's not to say that doesn't exist. And what I'm saying is intentionality to me and the black aesthetic don't necessarily go hand in glove. That the black aesthetic has been about playing off of things, augmenting things, right? So, John Coltrane plays My Favorite Things, right? The intention of My Favorite Things is that it's a very corny type of like holiday song. It has its moments, right? So I'm not against hearing it during the holidays, but when I hear that song, I'm it's kind of like a song where you want to skip in and drink your hot apple cider and and hopefully you have a nice warm thick sweater on, and it's a pretty holiday song. But when John Coltrane plays the same song, it becomes something else. It becomes soulful. It becomes a whole nother experience in terms of musicality. So the intention, and rest assured, I believe it's Roger Hammerstein did the song. We can double check it, edit it out or edit it in. But I guarantee you, he did not intend for My Favorite Things to be played in the way John Coltrane plays it, right? Mm-hmm. In the same way that Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life that takes the loop of the Annie song. One of the kind of like the corniest of corny Broadway songs, right? And he turns it into like a hip hop banger, right? I can guarantee that the people who wrote that song, "It's a Hard Knock Life," they intended for it to be sung by Annie, and they intended, for some young kid to belt out the song and people to respond in a certain way. But something else happened along the way. By the time it got to DJ, the 45 King, it became something else, right? It became something else with Jay-Z, right? So intentionality for me is one thing, but what we make of it is another. And so certainly, I read the same comic books that you read. I read probably the same comic books that you read. But along the way, when I was reading them, the intention and what I made of them became something else. So the Falcon was intended to be this really derivative sidekick of Captain America. But for me, I was like, man, forget about Captain America. This dude can fly. This is a flying black man. Other than Dr. J, that was it. So he stood out in my imagination like, oh man, a flying black man, man. If I had those wings, if I was the Falcon. And so it takes off into a whole nother direction when I become, in my mind, the Falcon and what it can mean and what it means for me. And particularly, they at one time they had those Mego Corporation, probably a little bit older than you, but they had Mego Corporation Falcon action figure.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, all right.
It was hard to get it, but I remember it.
So listen, I had my Falcon action figure, man, and when he was flying, I was flying, right? And it expanded my imagination to think about this dude could fly. I didn't have to worry about Superman. I didn't have to worry about these other guys. Like this guy, Falcon's better than Batman. They both got a cape, but this dude can fly, right? Falcon's got wings. But the intention of the Falcon was really as an afterthought. The intention of the Falcon is really a guy who's really insecure about his superhero status in relationship to Captain America, right? But what it ended up meaning to me and to other kids, we talk about the Falcon. Did you check out the Falcon? Right? Did you check out the Falcon? It has a different discourse around it. So, yeah, sure, most of these black superheroes are written by white men who may or may not have any type of real sensibility or resonance with my life as a working class, coming from a black working class background. But it didn't matter at a certain point. And that's the point that my book takes off from. The springboard into what it can mean. The springboard into what it symbolizes, right? Otherwise, we're just stuck with some corny characters that speak funny, given that these white writers try to put these black-sounding pseudo-ebonic statements into these, these bubbles on the page, and it doesn't come out right. So yeah, but that's the black tradition. We take what we have and we add and flip it and add something to it, and so I see that also in this.